Ow. So, the mic's hot. Camera's hot too. Holy shit, look at that. How good looking we are. So good looking. And for those of you who don't know who these good looking people are, my name is Marijuana Man. This is From Under the Influence. And I'm joined here by Vicky.
Hello.
Did I get your name right?
Got it perfectly right.
Did I pronounce that right?
It's actually Yikiv.
Yikiv? Yes.
You say it backwards.
Oh, okay. Well, Yikiv and I have known each other for quite some time. How long now?
Let's say about 6-7 years. 6 years.
6 years now. And how did you come to be in our midst for all these years?
Moved from Prince George and got stoned at the lounge and seen that you guys were hiring. So immediately stopped in the next day with a resume. I think I gave my resume to you. It was hilarious. You're smoking this fat joint, looking at my resume. I was blown away that you're even smoking weed, looking at it right away. Plumes of smoke hit the page, going everywhere. You're like, I guess we are hiring. Like, oh, okay, perfect. You passed me the joints. And yeah, we've been smoking together ever since.
Yes, I do remember that actual moment. And it impressed me that you were just there smoking joints with me. And I think you might have brought one of your own too, which also played highly in your favor. Yeah,
I was about to leave. I'm like, whoa, I got a joint in my pocket. I should totally smoke this with Greg right now. Seeing as you shared yours, you might as well share mine.
I remember that, and that's what nailed it. And your winning personality.
Here we go. Weed helps with the personalities.
Yeah, Vicky and I work together everywhere. All over the land here in the lounge and at my shop in Kitsilano. And we continue to do that today.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So here we sit. 7 more days. All I got to do is survive. Some lyrics from a Bob Dylan tune. If you should look it up. We can't play it because it'll be a copyright infringement. And I don't want Bob calling me at all hours of the night. Again. But, 7 more days till the legalization of cannabis in Canada. Now, despite the many failings of the legislation and its implementation, still, 7 more days till marijuana is legal in Canada. And that, I don't know. It's just such a double-edged sword.
It's more illegal, more like it. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the many flaws that I previously mentioned. Yeah, there's a lot. It's pretty fucked up. And they're not ready. The government is not ready to do this. So, we're going to have to come in and help them for the time being, I think. They just don't have their shit together. They don't have enough weed. They don't have the outlets. They don't have anything together, really. So, I don't know. I don't see any even government stores here in British Columbia. Like, is it all just private retail? They're not, the liquor board's not opening nothing? So, I don't know.
I think it was just the one shop in Kamloops that's supposed to open.
This is what we keep hearing about. People tell me they saw pictures of the place doesn't have anything in it. They're not ready to roll.
Yeah, it's funny. People are planning crusades of going there with their friends, being like, "This is where we got to get our pot now." What?
Well, they probably can't. Kamloops probably can't get any weed from the government to sell. No, it's pretty sad. It's the worst implementation of legislation I think I've ever witnessed in my whole life in this country. I don't know. Maybe it's all the same, and then we just don't know too much about the other legislations that they're implementing and how they're actually going. But this cannabis portfolio is a fucking mess, an absolute mess.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know what's going to happen, really. Like so many people ask us at the shop, what's
Every
gonna
single
happen
day,
every
like
day, every one of them.
every person.
And you go, I don't know. It doesn't look good.
It's like, once again, the police are fear mongering us that they're going to kick in our shit and steal from us and then charge us for helping people, which is crazy.
Well, at very least, not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
Just not complying. All right. I don't know. It's just as berserk as it always has been with the fucking things that come along. And now, because of legalization, see, for all these years, because marijuana was illegal, those who wish to could take advantage of that fact in ways. All right. The police could take advantage by garnering millions of dollars in enforcement money, and the health industry and their research looking for bad things about it. They were taking advantage of the fact that marijuana was illegal. So consequently, they could do pretty much and say pretty much whatever they wanted about it. And they continued to do that. Now, upon legalization, the rest of the world now is looking to see how they too can take advantage of cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Stop fucking taking advantage of us.
Yeah, something that...
Let's get it legalized and reckon with the idea of what it actually is. And let's have that. And then go and rip it apart.
Yeah. You guys have been
At
fighting for it to
least.
be so cheap and for it to be easily used for everything. And well known that the industry is being taken from underneath you guys, which sucks.
Yeah, they certainly are coming at this from a completely different and odd, well, it's not so odd, point of view. Right, like it's so not what they could have ever seen out there in the world that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was no example of this anywhere. The punitive, I don't know, restrictive bullshit that they want to pull, how they want to take advantage of this opportunity to really take advantage of. So. 7 more days. But I don't know. It's something. Hey? Oh, well, something. A fairly big step, I suppose, in terms of, went through Parliament and fucking, they legalized cannabis use for adults. So, little do they know that is the slippery slope to legalization. Mm-hmm. Legalization, right? The thing they feared all this time.
Yeah, but to the naked eye, the people that don't even pay attention to the environment that you guys are creating here with cannabis culture, as well as like the cannabis industry in Canada and the world, they don't give a fuck. They're like, okay, we're just going to double the price of everything and make maximum profit off of you guys wanting to just heal yourselves.
Yeah, it's a fairly telling thing about how these people operate, I think. A very good example of how crooked and scheming they are, right? And how calculated they are to funnel the money. Because that's all that it's ever about, money. So far, it's only ever been about money. Now, it's not even been about cannabis. It's not going to be about cannabis. It's going to be about money. And that's all they care about. So I don't know how it could possibly go. They dangle the carrot of micro cultivators in front of us. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's just a clever ruse to... Someday it will. Because they just can't, they just don't have their shit together. These people did not come at it from a cannabis point of view. So there's no way they can ever be successful with the cannabis. They can be successful on the stock market. But that's about it. There's another stock they need to think about.
The weed stock.
Yeah.
Grow more hemp. You got to get that. Now that's legalized. Okay. No more cutting down trees. How about that? Fuck.
Yeah, the benefits here are enormous. Really. We all know that, and we've certainly been saying that all these times. But here, upon legalization, they're pretty much banning the idea that you can say that anymore, that it's good for you. You're not allowed to say that cannabis is good for you. They've made it legislation against saying it's good for you.
Yeah, it was weird talking to some of the new LP cannabis dispensaries that are going to be coming up, like Aurora and Canopy Grow, and just talking to like the salespeople, like they couldn't even say what their favorite strain was. They said it was in their contract not to say what they were interested in using cannabis-wise. And like that's one of the best parts about going into a store is like, what are you using? Like, what's your favorite right now?
Happens every day. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, what has helped you with healing your pain, making you happy? Like,
you, by and large, will get fairly good responses to knowledgeable people about what they like and how it is, really. Like, what's wrong with that? So that's interesting that the government, I don't know, just how...
The government hasn't even tried weed yet.
No. And the only place they could have ever really found out very much about it, I don't know, is here. And they didn't look. Or they looked. And they didn't like what they heard. So they decided that no, those people over at Cannabis Culture like to say that marijuana is good. Let's make that outlawed.
Yeah, it's an ass backwards reality.
Interesting. Shoppers Drug Mart got a big contract to supply medicinal marijuana. Tilray got a big contract to supply Shoppers Drug Mart. Not even legalized yet, and they've already sewn up the deal.
Holy shit.
Shoppers Drug Mart was responsible for starting the drug war in Canada against all drugs. Shoppers Drug Mart started, should I say it again? Holy fuck. It's just so bizarre. Bizant.
Yeah, it's like their realization that people are just going to heal their entire bodies with one plant rather than relying upon their chemical-driven forces. Of course they're going to get in the pot market. They're like, fuck, we're going to be losing out on stocks. We might as well transfer over to what's going to be making money.
Oh, yeah, they're just in it for the money, just like everybody else. Has nothing to do with cannabis. How could Shoppers Drug Mart know anything about it or even find people that do? Right? Where would they go? What are they like? Really? They're starting this industry. They're in a pharmacy with fucking nothing. They don't know anything. I don't know. Certainly nobody here said that they called. Right?
I just remember going to a Shoppers Drug Mart as a kid and like smelling like weed, and they kicked us out of the Shoppers Drug Mart.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I don't know. I'd like to see maybe a campaign where a lot of people get together and go to Shoppers Drug Mart one after another up to the counter asking for cannabis and and putting them through their paces. Even if you're not a medical card user, they go anyway. Like hundreds of people go to the Shoppers Drug Mart and fucking overwhelm them with questions about it that they can't answer. And they'll go, oh my God, what is going to happen here? Now, in 1969, the president of Shoppers Drug Mart declared openly that he was seeing people taking drugs in our society that he did not sell them. So he cried, that is drug abuse. And he called together all the other pharmacies. It's not just Shoppers Drug Mart. It's all the other pharmacies and the media at the time, probably still. And they created the Council on Drug Abuse. Still exists today, still fights hard against fucking cannabis. And also, way back then, they were the outfit responsible for providing the curriculum taught in the schools about it. Written by a cop who was a member of the Council on Drug Abuse. So that's been their contribution to this up until now. So, fuck Shoppers Drug Mart. I don't boycott them. What the fuck do you want to go there for? I'd boycott them just for that reason and do. Tilray too. Fuck them for not looking it up and not having a clue or not caring that this is who they're associated with. Fuck you people who fought against us all these years thinking you're going to cash in. God will get you for that. Don't you know? There really is the universe fucking playing the way it plays. So, I don't know. There's going to be a celebration and protest at the Parliament buildings in Victoria, here in British Columbia, on the day, so we'll probably go to that. I think that is a good thing to do. Have our voices heard at the at Ground Zero. Grind Zero.
Yeah, big smoke out.
Yes. Well, I don't know. But the government, they just don't want to see anybody being happy around it or big celebrations. I'll bet they're pretty happy that it's all going to trickle out here fucking painfully slow. So, no, this is how good they are at doing shit. Doesn't matter that it's cannabis, but this is how good they are at doing shit. Could have been anything else. Could have been anything else, and they would have their shit together about the same. No, we're not ready. Maybe on the 16th they're going to say, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll roll it back to January.
Like when they said they were going to legalize it a couple years ago.
So, Alberta announced the wholesale prices of the products that they're going to be selling. Oh my God. What the fuck? Dried flour. They're wholesaling it at $2,500 a pound. Which is like, what? I don't have math on my head, but $8-9 a gram is what they're wholesaling it to the retailer at. Whew.
To make any money, yeah.
Whew.
Maybe double.
$20
a gram weed.
Yeah.
Which already a lot
fuck?
of LP grows have already. They have their premium selections, or what they like to call the craft bud.
Crooked
when it should just be
bastards.
all craft bud. All good weed. Not this stale, stagnant shit in like these massive gardens.
There's also $5 a gram for ground up weed already. Already ground up weed is what they're offering as well.
What the?
And pre-rolled joints in Alberta from the liquor board, wholesale, pre-rolled joint is over $9. $9.11.
That's
One oil
insane.
cap will be also in the $9 range. One cap. Holy
Yeah.
fuck. You
And, like,
greedy motherfuckers.
That's probably a low dose too.
And a crap dose.
Yeah.
But here's the LPs now. They've never talked about weed, the quality of their weed, ever. No one has come forward and said, I'm going to grow good weed. Huh, interesting. But they do certainly talk about the levels of quality vis-a-vis the price of weed a lot. Right?
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah, they've sucked this idea straight out of the black market. See, in the black market, there was different levels of prices of weed based on its quality to the largest of degrees, right? Outdoor weed was the cheapest. Greenhouse weed was next. Indoor weed was next, and the varying qualities within the indoor weed. Running from, and every level had its own name at one point, right? Mids or beasters or quads or, I don't know, triple A, double A, quadruple A. That was the black market. Because all weed would sell. Didn't really matter, because there wasn't enough weed. And it was illegal. Couldn't get it anywhere else. So most weed would sell, even the outdoor stuff. But it was also way cheaper. But the LPs are trying to wire into the idea that there should be varying levels of quality coming out of their factory. Right? Why would you do that? Why would you say, oh, we're going to grow mids, and you'll pay this much for them, but if you want the good stuff, it's going to cost you more. You go, really? Like, are you the Hells Angels? Are you the black market? Because that's the way they used to talk.
Yeah, and then people are expecting to pay more because of the THC level. It's like, do you even know what you're saying?
These fictitious percentages, I don't know, have never been ever explained to me. Don't make any sense whatsoever. Now have become legislated to be on the package. It is the law that these fake numbers have to be on the package. So see, this is what happens. You could have given this portfolio to a bunch of fucking 5-year-olds, and they would have come up with something similar as to what our government has come up with. And the reason for that is that they didn't try to find out anything about this substance. All right? They pick and choose the information that they want to use to come to their end. Right? Some fish in the fish tank today.
Yeah.
But, right, so they didn't really look at cannabis, and that's why it's so fucked up. They don't know what they're doing. And I'm not confident that I can trust the producers to not fucking monkey with shit so that they can fit into the numbers. All right, they'll all want to, if they say on the package that it tested at 17%, then the consumer is going to demand that next time it be 17%. And that the test reveals that. So, not too sure how you do that with cannabis. Here, a quick roller here. Let's get one of these ones going too.
Oh, nice. There we go. Dubes all around.
Anil's here too, if you didn't already figure that out.
Just answering everyone
Because
on
we're
the chat.
here and you can hear us. Oh, there's people in the chat. Dr. Cannabis, Calix Yukon, Andrew Johnson. Well, that's a weird handle, isn't it? Fucking made up shit do you come up with, you people? And Robert, doubt it. The only Robert. People will care about percentages, though, Robert, because people, humans, including me, when we don't know stuff, we would prefer to have numbers to refer to. And somehow, the being provided with numbers makes us think we know stuff about stuff we don't know anything about. So people have been more than happy to plug numbers at cannabis users. And it doesn't matter. But see here, because these factories are coming along, the fucking Auroras and Canopy Growth bumbleheads, because they're not really looking at cannabis, they're only looking at profit. They're only looking at the black market, how the black market went, not a legal market. They've been tricked completely by this. And they think that greenhouse weed is the way to go. When, did I mention earlier that greenhouse weed was the second least worthy weed after outdoor? Yeah, people are snapping up greenhouses across Canada and ripping out the tomatoes, and yeah, you shouldn't right away.
Yeah, I think now that it's legalized, we got to get all the other places in the world legalized so we can get a free trade happening.
There you go.
Fuck, we need free trade in cannabis where it's already maxing out on the sunlight, getting that UV that the THC needs to...
Well, the places where it comes from are going to
there.
be the hotbed of production once the world figures this out a little bit. But these pinheads here in Canada, because all marijuana sold under prohibition, they somehow think, I guess this is where their mids are going to come from, is the greenhouses, right? The overpriced cheap weed will be from greenhouses, because that's all they got. Now, what a stupid thing. They're going to have to use their lights easily the same amount of time as I would indoor. And they probably got more lights than they actually need, but they're going to use them anyway because they don't know anything about lights or what this plant actually wants. So they're going to pretend that they're reaping some benefits from the sun, although at the same time they're going to block out those benefits because they've what they will all cover their greenhouses with. So they're just going to waste the sun, the little bit that they have here at these northern climes, right? No. Plus, they're going to have to use the lights all the time, just like I would indoor. They're going to have to heat the shit out of these things in the wintertime. Leamington, Ontario? Come on. Outdoor in the winter?
That's crazy.
Holy cow, you're going to have to heat those. And in the summertime, craziest thing about greenhouses is how humid they are. That might be good for tomatoes, cucumbers. Ain't good for trichomes. So you'll grow lots of leaf in a humid greenhouse if it doesn't rot on the vine, if you can overcome that part of it. But they don't grow many trichomes. And they don't even know why they don't. So, these people, the only thing they got going for them now is that we're being forced to buy from them. But I got a feeling that we should be able to easily prove that they're not worth fucking even being able to do it, because they're doing it, they will do it so poorly. So far, it's all I've ever seen. I don't know. Here's the thing that I came across on my phone. Not on my phone. I guess it's just in my phone. I don't know. Well, there was some a study done at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan campus. Seems that newly published research from UBC's Okanagan campus has determined that many strains of cannabis have virtually identical levels of THC and CBD, despite their unique street names.
Wow.
Yes. Professor Susan, who teaches chemistry, we wanted to know how different they truly are given the variety of unique and exotic names. Unique and exotic names. What the fuck would have... Why would that have anything to do with it? Unique and exotic names.
People just getting the same cut and making it sound different.
Well, Susan might be onto something. Susan says that people have had informal breeding programs for a long time. In a structured program, we would keep track of the lineage, such as where the parents' plants came from and their characteristics. With unstructured breeding, which is the current norm, particular plants were picked for some characteristics, then given new names. Well, that's right, Professor Susan.
Wow.
She's correct about that. Until now, the chemical breakdown of many strains has been unknown. Until Elizabeth, a doctoral student working with Susan and Paula, Canadian Research Chair in the Phytoanalytics at British Columbia Institute of Technology. Till these three women examined the cannabinoid. You know that thing? A class of chemical compounds that include THC and CBD. Did you ever hear of such a thing? Huh? And
Pretty funny.
profiles of 33 strains of cannabis from 5 licensed producers, as it turns out. Huh. The research shows that most strains, regardless of their origin or name, have the same amount of THC and CBD. They further discovered that breeding highly potent strains of cannabis impacts the genetic diversity within the crop, but not THC or CBD levels. Huh. Interesting. Well, that's a lot of stuff, Susan. Current licensed producers are only required to report THC and CBD values, but Susan says her new research highlights that the important distinguishing chemicals in cannabis are not necessarily being analyzed and may not be fully identified. Ooh. Was this like you found some fucking alien species or something? You must know everything about it. No, don't. Stop. I don't trust humans in the equation. I don't trust your science. I don't trust your methodology. Shut the fuck up. Because at some point you keep coming up with that you know what it is when you don't. Right? And who cares? It's just pot. Dude. Susan, dude, come on. Why must you know every detail? Oh, because that's what you do for a living. Okay, so what? Hey? Susan taking advantage of cannabis. Huh? But in a lot of degrees, she's right. But here's an interesting conclusion I don't think that they came to, is that maybe the 5 LPs they got the 33 strains from, it's all the same fucking weed. They're just calling them different things. Huh. Ahead of the gate here, we've got 33 strains, which they don't mention in here.
Yeah.
Susan's research was recently published in Nature's Scientific Reports. Right, but they never ever said what numbers they came up with themselves. Just said they all tested the same. Huh. But what did they test, Susan? She didn't say. She didn't give any of the names of the strains.
She's like, yeah.
Didn't say the names of the LPs. What the fuck was the point of this article?
She basically diagnosed that it was weed. There's definitely THC and CBD in here.
Came to no conclusion whatsoever.
And
useless scientist in that respect. Like, he didn't even finish the fucking thing. Why would that be? Wouldn't you be curious as to why that is? Other than to reverse engineer it into the idea that they aren't different? Maybe there's a reason why the 5 LPs are sending you all the same weed. Because that's what fits into their machine for their packaging. Right? No, growing weed on a large scale changes the weed that you're actually able and willing to grow, which does not mean much of a diversity. This could be a setup too, right? So that now the LPs can fall back on the idea that it really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. They're all the same, right?
Yeah,
that's what they're up to crazy. A lot of the time, because they're trying to maximize their yield in their greenhouse in Delta.
Moldy crops already out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, huge crops coming down. Fucking first probably molded out. I would have to think. It's a really hard thing to overcome in a greenhouse. Well, and marijuana does not respond well to hot and humid fucking conditions. Sorry. Yeah, and then they overfeed them, giving the powdery mildew food. And they go, how did we get powdery mildew? Well, it's everywhere. It's in the room right now, waiting for hot, humid conditions. That's what it does.
Fuck, so
and
gross.
An abundant food supply, which is the excess nitrogen that they're hammering at these plants, trying to get them as fat as they possibly can for the shareholders. Yeah. They ain't too classy, these people. I don't know. They haven't really even had to be good business people. It's just been a gift. The explosion of money that they've
Yeah, it
been
was
given.
like, whoa, I can afford to get a license
Dude.
right off the hop. Perfect.
They could do whatever they want.
Not
Well,
even knowing how to grow weed or anything about it.
they all had a big head start, the licensed producers, by being the licensed producers of medicinal cannabis. I'm not too sure why the government thought that that was the same marijuana, because it obviously isn't. So I'm not too sure why and how these medicinal LPs have made the switch to growing recreational marijuana. They haven't, and they aren't, and they don't want to.
Yeah, where are they even getting their seeds from? That's what I want to know.
Probably the times they raided us.
There we go, yeah.
Or somebody else who had them, or genetics that came from those. Yeah, no, it's all bullshit, right? This is why, another thing too that supports the LP's position, there's Professor Susan saying that the names of these strains don't matter. That's another key issue, is that the LPs don't want to use those names anymore because they're not sure if they're being ripped off. I'm pretty sure of that. They don't know if they've really got green crack.
Seen in so many different forms.
And they probably don't want to compete with the black market's idea of what we have or had before them. So if they say it's Blue Dream and you go, well, worst Blue Dream I've ever had, that's not good, right? But if you go, wow, worst number 17 I've ever had, I don't know. I'd like to be able to say I wish and hope that they do grow good weed. But
You'd hope.
I really hope they don't, and that they'll go away. And somehow we'll just replace them. But for now, 7 days. And they got no weed, they got no stores, they got nothing online. So, Canadians technically on day one, on October 17th, no one is to have marijuana. So medicinal patients who grew it or had it grown for them, that'd be about it, or got from their med growers who aren't ready to sell to the rec market yet. They couldn't do it, couldn't gear up fast enough. Oh, what the fuck, you idiots.
Keep your dealer's numbers.
Who was
Comes down
complaining? There's plenty of dispensaries.
Yeah.
More could have opened up across the land if you'd figured out a way to just legalize that. It'd be all going a long time ago, and easily so. And the government could still get their cut, but they want a lot. They want a big cut.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous that they want to just give all the weed to all these dispensaries
Well,
rather than giving us the opportunity to just grow our own.
yeah, exactly. Fucking childish 4 plants per household. Like, really? You can grow as much, or make as much booze as you want. Come on. Like, really? I don't think this is gonna hold up too long, this 4 plant limit. Man, I don't know. BC announced too that you can only have 1 kilo of marijuana in the house. You can have as much whiskey.
How do they even know? Like,
Well, there you go.
why limit?
Yeah. It's on the books, but they're going to walk around house to house and have a look, for God's sakes.
Yeah, that's weird.
We should set them up. Have your 4 plants going, but just waste electricity massively for a little while until they go, oh, they must have really put a lot of lights in there. We'll have a look and they'll just find the poor plants. Yeah, that's sad. Number of plants. Come on. And a lot of places have outlawed even the opportunity to do that within their province, right? Or their landlord, or damn near anybody else who guy at the corner store doesn't like it, so you don't get to grow. I don't like that.
Fuck, I don't like a lot of things, but
Really? What the fuck? If you had a setup that was going to provide really good weed at low prices, I don't need to grow. Why would I want to? I'd rather have really good weed at low prices, and I'll buy lots of that. What's wrong with that?
start having 420 markets at farmers markets.
Yeah. But they don't want to do that. Then they say, oh, you can only have 4 plants. You go, oh. So it won't be diverted into the black market. What? Like, it's just, I don't know, they've got this fucking idea that they should eradicate the cannabis the way it was and hand it over to these people who are growing strains that all taste the same. Huh? So, I don't know. What the fuck?
It's a weird world.
Isn't it though? Well, I have another joint to prove it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what's going to happen in the next couple of days here. Like,
well, they're already
closes
announcing
down.
they're going to have massive weed shortages that they're just not ready to provide. So, what the fuck?
especially without edibles and concentrates, that's a huge portion
nonsense.
of people that need that medicine. A lot of people don't like smoking it. Only way you can use it is to ingest it. And that's
And
like,
nobody's been hurt. Come on. Even a child last week
yeah.
got into some gummies in the back of the car, which I'm not too sure how the kid did that. Parents should be maybe a little more cognizant of what they're leaving around. And at any rate, child ate gummies, started acting weird, and of course rushed to the hospital, who then flew her to some other hospital and go, like, fucking really? They went berserk over, and they never, in all the articles I read about it, they never mentioned what they did for the child along the way, what treatment was
Yeah,
required.
like, did you get her some French fries or some munchies?
Just about all this massive amount of medical attention that they
Probably
chose
freaked her
to
out.
throw at her. Oh yeah, that'd be the scary. I don't know. Might be exciting. Get flown somewhere, but right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Jello.
But they didn't mention any of the treatment or really any of the consequences of this ingestion, other than she looked like she needed medical attention because she was acting different, right? So, at the end of it, of course, they said the child would have a full recovery.
Perfect.
Yeah. And then the cop said, this is another good reason why it's so dangerous to have edibles. Like, really? Like,
The kid didn't die.
How did you
like,
conclude that? Seemed to be no treatment, no consequence, full recovery.
Yeah, right?
Didn't need the doctors, didn't need a flight, didn't need to fucking do anything. Really? They couldn't handle it at the first hospital? Are you fucking kidding me? A hospital couldn't handle that? We can handle it here at the lounge.
Yeah, realistically, it's just like,
Lots of babies come in
Chill
that have
here.
gotten a hold of gummies, right? And so we coddle them till they feel better.
some of them are about 6 feet.
Then we tend to fly them to another hospital. That's what you'd do right away.
Yeah, it's
Ludicrous.
just like,
So they utilize this, of course, in the news at the timing of the thing. Yeah, you don't even know if these fucking things even happen. Or they just make it up and print it out there. I don't know, really. Big story. Oh, put that one out.
nice. Yeah, it didn't even. Did that article even have their full names on that? Like, could have just been a fake article.
Well, no, there was no names, actually, other than the name of the police officer who was so alarmed at this being the reason why we need more police about edibles. You go, really? Because of the full recovery? Is that the reason? Or the overreaction of the medical people?
The reality is, some kids need cannabis, too. Like, that shouldn't be neglected out there.
Kid will be fucking famous at school. Be selling gummies now, wouldn't they? Hey, aren't you the gummy girl? They go, oh, yeah, my dad left more in the back of the pickup. Here. So mom and dad, you gotta be a little more careful. Here, kids get into it. It's not. I don't say it's dangerous for your child. It's fucking just dangerous for the stigma of what the world. Look at how the world overreacted to that.
People are drinking at
Took
dinner time.
advantage of the fact that it was cannabis.
People are drinking alcohol at dinner time or lunchtime or morning time with their kids around. And they're
Yeah, I
worried
don't
about a
know.
joint
Not too sure
or
what
a
the
gummy.
usual protocol is for kids ingesting stuff. But
Yeah, it's
maybe
not-
we'll question the need for that first hospital. If they can't handle that kind of shit, what are you doing? Downsize that a little bit. And come on, idiots. And the lack of knowledge, because no one's looked. No one's looked at cannabis, so they don't know anything about it. Huh. Not very good for the kid, really. Cop says it's so dangerous. How come you guys didn't know nothing about it? Or report what needed to be done. Would you just... They didn't even say we gave her juice. She had to be... What? She had to be strapped down for 7 hours while she thrashed from side to side. Nothing. We gave her a biscuit, a little cookie.
Man, yeah.
If they didn't even say that, did you not do anything for this child?
Yeah.
You just flew her around back and forth and went, okay, you're gonna have a full recovery.
Yeah, was she just chilling and maybe she was just like...
They never said in any of the articles that I read. Yeah, that's the girl. The Exorcist girl. Ooh, look at that skull, black and white. Ah. That's what they did to her on the flight. Yeah, turned her into that.
She's pissed.
So, oh, that was the girl. No. Silly. So they took advantage that it was cannabis to overreact, right? Nobody questioned them overreacting or anything. Of course they don't.
It just reminds me of there's like a YouTube video of this couple that calls the cops saying that they are too high because they ate these brownies. They think that they're dying.
Yes.
Like, no one died, but it's just funny that people think that they're dying
So
at
sad.
times, you know? It's like, you're not dying, it's okay. You're just hyperventilating a little bit. You just
Yeah.
gotta take a breath deeply and exhale. Yeah. Some people just like stop breathing. It's like, whoa, remember to breathe.
Yeah, I don't know.
As easy
People
as
are
that.
stupid. Right? They are. They just
lot
don't
of
think
people are.
clearly a lot of the time. You go like, I don't know. I've never ingested any substance that I forgot that I ingested. And if weird shit started happening, you go, oh, it's the substance that I've consumed.
Yeah.
You could say to your friends, hey, a little fucking uncomfortable here, but I'm not going to smoke anymore. What the fuck? You don't need to go berserk. But people do themselves because they don't know what's happening, and especially if you're a novice. You just don't know what's going on. And your body and your head they're not that bright, right? We're not really that smart when it comes to our natural instinct of what's going on when you don't know what's going on. Your body will go, I don't know. I think you're being poisoned. They go to that a lot. Your body will resolve the idea that you're being poisoned because it doesn't know either.
Sure.
It's what they say about car sickness. That because you're sitting stationary, your body knows that, yet your eyes are, they're shit whipping by at 100K. It can't figure this out, why this is happening. So it makes you throw up. It goes, hey, it's got to be poison. This is what I've read on my phone. It's on my phone. So, that's it. That's it. 7 more days. So I don't know, in Vancouver here, a lot of
Freedom.
dispensaries, I got a feeling that most of them are going to stay open, I would have to think. Like, I don't know. I guess we'll probably have to try and get a license somehow. But, no,
It'll
I don't know. I
come
don't think the
through.
government can pull it off. I don't think these clowns know enough about it or really even thought about the growing of the weed and delivering of the weed part.
Mm-hmm.
They've been too obsessed with expanding their horizons. But we'll see. And I don't know. Maybe eventually here we should be able to get the smaller player back involved to forget about it. I don't know. What's the government really need to do? If you're going to grow weed to sell to dispensaries, you should have a GST number. So that the dispensary and that's all you got with anybody else, no matter what they're selling to you, is a GST number from them. So everybody needs one of those. Simple. Taxes get paid, everybody's happy. What the fuck? Now the tracking of the weed, right? The diversion. Well, we're going to have to divert weed into the marketplace because there won't be any from the government. Here we'll be on legalization day and there'll be no weed. Really? It's not like you sprung this out of the blue. We were ready. we can help. Like, really, give us a call. Mike Farnworth, I don't know what his title is.
Farnworth.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the Farnworth?
What's a Farnworth?
I don't know. What's a Farn? But, at any rate, this guy who's in charge of it all, he, I can't remember what I was going to say. I don't know. These people, they should be doomed in their political positions just over this alone. People gotta, you have to think you're gonna lose faith with these guys, the shit they've come up with. But interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go to Victoria next Wednesday. We'll be there, standing proud for what we've accomplished and the stuff we still need to do.
Yeah. Invite open to everyone that wants to come out.
Well, it ain't over till it's over, I guess. We'll see what comes, but I don't know. Government here, well, they're incompetent. But anyway, thanks a lot for coming and hanging out with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So stoned.
Yeah,
It's always great hearing your stories.
I think we smoked a bit. Hope everybody out there in the world has something good to smoke as well. Thanks for joining in on the chat. Sorry I missed you.
Chronic Susan.
So have good days ahead, and if you're in Canada next Wednesday, I don't even know what to say. Happy Cannabis Day,
Yes.
I guess. Or, hey, you want to buy some weed? Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know, I really have the desire to sell some weed on the day it's been legalized. At least, come on, some good weed one time. Won't hurt anyone. But anyway, thanks, Vicky, and I'll see
Thank
you
you.
after the show.
Sounds good.
Thanks to Anil too for keeping us in focus. I thought it was a very well focused show.
Feeling focused.
Do tune into all the other Pot TV shows along the week. Every day of the week, you can at 4 o'clock live. You can do it here on Pot TV. So until next time, it's going to be legal cannabis. So we'll see you after that. I'm Marijuana Man. Peace. And pot.